790 words which really matter on the exam. So we'll be doing this 10 to 15 minutes a session, right? And wherever we come across some difficult word, we'll try to have some tricks so that we can remember those words. So let's start with this. So WORDATHON, my name is Rakesh Kumar Sharma. On CAT VRC, I've scored 99.6 percentile. Right on GRE, I've got 330. In the days to come, we will be covering editorials from these newspapers so that students can prepare for GDPIs. These are certain courses which I'm going to launch, so you can simply pause and look at this, and you can follow my courses. There are various timings here. All right, so uh, so again you can pause and look at this, and we are moving towards the word that we want to do. So here, I would want that you constantly think about one word. The moment I give you a word, right, you have to think about what is that common word that can be linked to the word that I would give you or the situation that is here. So what we see here in this through this question is, if your tailor does a wrong alteration of your dress, what do you do? Right? So what do we do when tailor has done wrong alteration? Would we fight with him? Would we get angry? Yes, we'll fight. We'll get angry with him. So we'll fight. So from this word, right? From this word alteration, can we say that there is one word possible, that is altercation, right? Altercation. So what we are doing is that right after R we are inserting C, one alphabet C that we are trying to introduce here right after C, right? So that'll be altercation. So let's see what this altercation is. It means a noisy argument. It is noun, and of course it is negative. So altercation is a nicer word for quarrel, which is a nicer word for fight. A mnemonic, that just we saw. Mnemonic would be a kind of a memory trick, right? So what I mean, the moment we come across some kind of a difficult word, we'll try to have some memory trick so that we can remember the word. So now with alteration, Taylor's alteration, you can remember this altercation. Alter is a word root, and that means other. So here we have one sentence which says, judging from all the slamming and banging, I would say there was some sort of altercation going on next door. So some sort of altercation going on next door, some kind of fight going on next door. Let's go further. So we have here, what we see is that there is a biker. So this biker, he is in a fight with a car owner. So there's a question, is the biker fighting with the car owner? And the answer is yes. With this biker word, we can remember one another word, that is bicker. B-I-C-K-E-R. What we are doing is that we are adding C, the alphabet C, right after I. So that is bicker. So let's see. Bicker is to argue about unimportant things like children do. It is a verb. And it says here that when you bicker, you argue in a petty way, like two kids squabbling, right? So two kids who are sitting, say, on the back seat, and they are fighting with each other, right? Squabbling that, no, I want to sit in the at the window seat, right? So they are squabbling. So when we bicker, right? One sec. Okay. So when we bicker, right? When we bicker, we argue over petty things in a petty way, right? That. There is a sentence which says, after a prolonged bicker, they finally managed to find a movie that both of them were interested in seeing, right? So that means there was a kind of a quarrel that was there, right? So of course, finalizing which movie to watch, so that would be not something very important, right? So bicker would be a word that could be used here. All right, so moving further, we have here, there's a question. There's a question. Do you remember the fight, right? The fight. So it talks about the fight. So for fight in North India, we use a word bawal. So that happened in the movie Kabir Singh. So do you remember that? There was a scene, after Holi, there was a fight that happened. Now, with this, we can remember a word that is BRAWL, brawl. So it is pronounced as brawl, but it also, we can say that slightly it sounds like brawl, right? Brawl. So brawl. So you can remember it in this manner. So if you're able to remember, if you use this word brawl ever, right, anytime, or you found someone using this is a very common word. So you can remember this word brawl, right? Brawl. So brawl is a noisy argument and in public place, right? And it involves many people, right? And it is especially in public place. So if you're inside a bar and there is a fight which is going on, so you'll say that there's a brawl going on. Brawl, right? So a bar fight is a brawl, right? A fight in the cafeteria which turns into a free for all can also be called a brawl. A brawl is a nice, noisy fight in a crowd. So we can say that fans were brawling in the streets after the game, right? So after the game got over, the fans were brawling, right? So there was a noisy fight, noisy argument, right? That was constantly we are looking at the word fight, right? So bicker, brawl, altercation, right? So this same words, right? Moving further, we have certain images from certain movies. So this image is of Hrithik Roshan. So Hrithik Roshan in the Lakshya movie, right? And here we have Preeti Zinta again from the same movie Uri, right? And we have Virat Kohli here. So he is hitting a ball, right? So it basically tries to give us one situation about uh, a real war between countries, right? So a professional fight with combat. You can guess the word combat, right? The word is combat, right? Combat, right? Combat. So to talk less. Combat. In Hindi we say combat means to talk less. So the word that we get is combat, right? So it means fighting in wartime, right? Fighting in wartime, that is combat. It's a noun. So combat is a fighting between two groups of armed forces. When you engage in combat, typically this means you engage in fighting that involves weapons, right? So it's a professional war. It's fighting with weapons, right? So somebody who is a part of armed forces, he is participating in a certain war combat, right? So we have here some of these soldiers have never seen combat, right? So a kind of a professional war, so they were not part of a professional fight. Moving further, what we see here is image of the PM of Pakistan, Imran Khan, right? He was a cricketer earlier. So it says that the question says here that if you have less content to support your point, right? What you may do to win the speech. So if you have less content, what is that you would do? Let's say you are let's replace this speech with a debate. Of course, you will struggle, right? So with less content, the participant will struggle more, right? Will struggle, right? Struggle more. So to struggle in a fight, contend, right? Contend, CONTEND, right? Contend, that is to struggle, struggle in a fight, contend, right? So it is a verb. So struggle in opposition, so against the enemy, of course. So it says to contend with the enemy for control of the port, right? So that means to fight, to struggle, right? That content. Moving further, we have here this image. It says that is politics full of fraud and scams. What people do after committing the fraud. You have to remember this, you have to remember this. FRA. Remember this. Fraud, right? So what happens to common masses after that fraud? So after that fraud, what do we see? Do we see that there is some kind of chaos which is occurring? And we can say yes, there would be chaos. The resources would turn less for people, right? There'll be lesser resources available to people, and with that there'll be chaos. The demand would not be met. Demands, of people. So with this fraud and scam, we are trying to move towards a word that is fracas, right? Fracas. So fraud and scam, we want to move towards this word fracas. Again, something which takes us towards a noisy argument involving many people. And of course, the situation would turn chaotic, right? So that is fracas, right? So it says that there's one situation. If your marching band gets into a fight with another school's prep band, your principal might say the fracas was uncalled for and undignified, right? So fracas. So we also have word root FRAC and FRAG. They mean break, right? Break. So FRAC, FRAG, they take us towards break. Moving further, we have here me versus Bruce Lee, right? So this me here is Donnie Yen, right? So me versus Bruce Lee, what you may expect. Of course, it's talking about fight. So what we will expect would only be a fight, right? A fight. So the word that we get with this is MELEE, right? Millie. So let's look at this word. It says that melee, it is a situation in which a crowd of people rush or push each other in a confused way. So further, there's a situation which is given to us. It says that a melee is a noisy free for all or a rowdy fight, a no holds barred battle royal, if you will. It's what pro wrestlers engage in every night, and shoppers endure at the toy store every holiday season, right? So it is a free for all rowdy fight, right? So it is a situation in which crowd of people, they rush and push each other in a confused way. It's a fight, right? So me versus Lee, that's a very simple example with the help of which we can remember the word melee, right? A fight. uh, of course, as we are doing these words, revision, of course, is required. Probably your revision would turn interesting and easier, right? After you have gone through these words. Number one thing, you are only working on one idea. Number two, there's a pictorial representation. Third thing, you have the ways to remember some of the difficult words, right? So, milli is the word at the moment. Moving further, what we see is that there are children who are fighting, and here they are fighting for a burger, right? Burger, and they may fight for chocolates as well. Yes, they may fight for chocolates. So, it says that if children query or question and babble for a chocolate, Can they start a fight with each other? Yes, they may. They may start a fight, right? So the fight may start when they question and babble for a chocolate. So they are doing it to each other, right? They are questioning and babbling with each other. So therefore, would they soon after would they engage into a fight? Would they start fighting with each other? So with this, we have to remember this QU here, right? QU or QU from query, right? And babble, right? So the word that we are going to do is quibble, right? Quibble. Quibble is the word that we are going to do, right? So it takes us towards this quibble. So it is to complain and argue about small matters. It is used both as noun and verb, right? So of course, when children they engage into fighting with each other for chocolate or for a burger, of course that would be a small matter, right? So we have a situation here further. So a quibble is a small argument of fight. As a verb, it means to pick a mini fight, right? To pick a mini fight over something that does not really matter. So somebody may say that let's not quibble over price, right? Uh, so this people will say usually when they plan to gouge you, right? So they want to show you down. So at that moment, they may say that let's not quibble over price, right? So we can have one example here. It says that he spent the entire evening quibbling about the historical inaccuracies in the television series on World War II. Quibble, right? Quibble. So again, the same idea, fight, right? Complain and argue about small matters. Let's move further. Oh, we have got many images here. So what we see is, we see this seems to be from Wagah border, and this seems to be part of Pakistan here, right? We have India, right? India, and these planes, these flights have been routed not from Pakistan, right? So flights are not entering Pakistan airspace. We have India and Pakistan here in the cricket match. There are some people they are talking about someone's degree. All right, so we have further. This seems to be face of a Modi, which or a photograph of Modi that has been burnt here, right? So let's look at the question. What is the question here? The question says if you have to sit with your enemies in a row, this is basically when it says at the moment it is talking about sitting, so it should be row, right? Row, for example, how we pronounce it toe, in that manner it will be pronounced as row. It means a queue, right? A queue. But if it is pronounced as cow, right? When it is pronounced as cow, it means a fight, right? So this pronunciation gives us a different meaning. The another second pronunciation, it gives us the meaning of a fight, right? That turns into a fight. So row is a fight, right? All right, so let's go further. And what we see here is quarrel and dispute. So row means a noisy argument, but when you use it this way, it rhymes with cows. That's what we were doing, right? And the another pronunciation is toe, like toe. So that'll be row. That is a queue, a line, right? A line. Fine. So we have one sentence here. It says that he was engaged in a row with his classmates and made friends with the seniors. So because he did not share friendly relationships, or he was not able to get friends in his classroom, so he made friends with the seniors. So that is row, quarrel, and dispute. Let's move further. Oh, we again have got children here. So what we see is that these two children, they are fighting. They seem to be fighting for Scrabble, right? All these alphabets here. These two girls are fighting for a teddy bear, or it seems to be a panda, right? For a panda, these two children again, this one here, this one is teasing the another one, right? And this another one is crying, yelling, right? And maybe he is hurt and he is shedding tears. So there is a question. It says, are these kids quarreling over Scribble? So for these kids, right? For these ones, we can say yes, right? Can such a quarrel be considered very serious? No, of course, no, not at all. So moving further, we'll have uh, this word explained here. So it says squabble is to argue noisily, right? So we were doing this uh, from this scribble, right? From this scribble and quarrel, right? Scribble and quarrel, or just from scribble. You can remember this word squabble, right? Squabble, SQUABBLE, right? Squabble. So it is to argue noisily about very unimportant details. So before that, we did this word. We did a similar word that was quibble. Same thing, right? Completely same. They match with each other. So squabble, quibble, both are same. So to fight over unimportant things. So we have one sentence here. It says that frightened by noise of the squabble, the cat hid under the couch. Right? Squabble. And to argue noisily, to fight about very unimportant things. Further, here in this in these images, what we see is that these two children, they are fighting for a tiffin. Here we can see the tiffin very clearly, right? Tiffin. They probably have tiffin or a bottle, something, right? So if they are fighting, these kids are fighting for tiffin. From tiffin, we can remember a word tiff. We can remember a word tiff, right? So we get a word TIFF, right? TIFF, and again it is a fight, right? Of course, this will not be considered very serious. Further, some explanation about this word. So what we get is tiff is a quarrel, right? And a quarrel about petty points, right? So here we have, like any couple, they occasionally tiff, but it's never anything serious, right? Tiff from tiffin, you can remember tiff, or you may say tiny fight. So fight about tiny things. Further, oh, this zebra, it's trying to hit this lion. Here we see that uh, this seems to be a vulture or eagle. It might have lifted. It might have lifted this jackal's food. Here we see that there is a wild bovine or buffalo that is there on road, and it may hit this person, right? And here we see this uh, picture, right? This picture, and it's time to get food fight messy, right? So basically, this one image the uh, from one event, right? That is termed as Tomatino, right? Tomatino is organized in Spain, right? That is one event that is organized in Spain, Tomatino. So we get here in this picture, is the muscle power leading to a disorderly fight? The answer is yes. Yes, the muscle power is leading to disorderly fight. With muscle, we can remember the word tussle, right? So tussle and muscle, right? Tussle, muscle. So if you remember this as tussle, muscle, again fight, and you would be able to have a recall for the word tussle muscle, right? Tussle muscle. It is a short fight, right? It is a short fight in order to get something. So somebody who wants, for example, that zebra that was hitting the lion, right? So it wanted to get rid of that situation, right? So it is a short fight uh, in order to get something. So it ends for it is there for a small time, right? Tussle muscle. So let's move here. We have a sentence. The suspect was arrested after a tussle with a security guard. So tussle muscle. Moving further, we see that we have these boys again hitting each other, right? These boys hitting each other. We have these boys as well, right? They are in a fight. This is a scene from JNU, right? So it says, are the students fighting, right? And they are fighting uh, very, in a manner that they really want to hit each other, right? The eye of this boy has turned black, right? So he has been beaten severely, right? So we want to talk about a word that is scuffle, right? Scuffle. Uh, Further, we have here, so SCUFFLE, right? There, right? Then we have here this particular image, and it says that there is a white flag here, and India and Pakistan are seen here, and we see one fire extinguisher. So this fire extinguisher, it uses a word here, right? Ceasefire. For that, we, when we look at this word, introduce, we can remember a word, truce, right? Truce. So that's all for today, right? We'll again meet tomorrow at 9 p.m., right? So if you want to know some of the programs that I'm launching, right? So you can go to the first part of this video, I mean, the beginning of this video, and just have a look there. Those all things would be done in this month. So that's all from my side for today, this evening. See you again in next class of Wordathon. Bye bye.